Okay, so we got some weird lighting today, but just wanted to say some thoughts on this great record right here. New one from Weezer, second one of the year already. That's awesome. And I don't usually check in with opinions on just released albums. You know, it's only been out a week. But I've been listening to this a lot, and I've been seeing a lot of different opinions on it, obviously. I mean, every Weezer record is so polarizing. OK Human is probably the closest we've got since the White Album to having unanimous praise, but unfortunately, even that one, like day 1, 2, it was nothing but, you know, goodwill and stuff. And then it was really, really soon that, you know, you started hearing people kind of bash it like they do for Weezer or any established act. You know, all the negativity comes out from the echo chamber and that. But yeah, anyway, this record is a whole lot of fun, and you know, obviously don't come into it as, you know, being critical or whatever, because it's Weezer and they're just having fun. This record is a nice tribute to Van Halen, of course, and it's too bad that he wasn't able to hear it. He passed away last fall. Yeah, it would have been awesome to you know, see what he said about their tribute to him. And you know, Rivers does some great guitar playing on this one. He's a very capable guitarist, obviously. And I just got the regular edition of it, so just boring black vinyl. Oh, there's the label, by the way. Very cool. And it kicks off with Hero, which is a, you know, great kind of stompin' rocker with a really catchy sing-along chorus, and it really is prominent on the live version, the backing vocals to it. I wish they were kind of brought up a little bit more in the mix. And then you have All the Good Ones, which is kind of, a lot of people say it's kind of like Beverly Hills Part 2. It's kind of like a reimagining of that, or kind of using the kind of stompin' verses to build another song on, and a much better song, a lot of people are saying. I would definitely agree with that. It's a really fun chorus, again, really catchy. End of the Game. Now this was announced back in 2019, this record, and The End of the Game was released as a single. They did that thing that they usually do where they announce the record like 8-10 months before, which is a really weird strategy because you had all the hype, and The End of the Game actually charted really well for them. And then the hype dies down, and that they did that with the Black Album too. But this time around, it's like, no, you really have to, you know, strike while the iron's hot. You know, get this out there as soon as possible, because they announced it, and it was supposed to come out in May 2020. And you know, the song kind of disappeared from the charts after a couple months, and then COVID happened, so it got delayed again. So yeah, The End of the Game has been the first single since you know, a year and a half ago, or longer than that, I think. Yeah. So, you know, I think this record is going to chart well. Apparently it's going to be their first UK top 10, or it's on track to be. It could not do that. But it's going to sell well for them, but I think they could have, you know, done even better for the sales. They could have put out The End of the Game, and then the record comes out around Christmas or something of that year. Then we would have had this record long ago. I Need Some of That is the next one, and that's kind of a very power pop song. Production-wise, it sounds kind of like the Green Album, but other than that, it doesn't. And of course, you hear them chatting with Rick at the end of the cut, and that's kind of a tribute to him, I guess. Of course, member of the Cars, helped them out on the Blue Album, the Green Album, and that album back there. Their kind of return to form, as a lot of people called that one. Back to the Shack. Then you have Beginning of the End, and curiously, this is a different version than the single edit, which came out for that, I think it was on the Bill and Ted 3 soundtrack. And it was an awesome song, actually. And it has better rising action than this version does. And And I don't really like how it doesn't fade out, because sometimes the fade out, you're like, oh, I'm missing something. They faded out too quick. But on this one, the fade out is really epic, and, you know, Pat's doing kind of a drum solo in that. And this one, it just ends so abruptly, like a little too abruptly. It's weird. But I'm getting used to the album version. I still like the single version better, but I'm getting used to the album version. I still like it. But it kind of made me realize something that a lot of Weezer fans have realized for a long time, and that's that Weezer often have a different album version of songs than the single version, going back to Maladroit with Keep Fishing, which everyone likes the single version better, except me. I like the album version better on that one. I like how it's produced better. Some people go, oh, it's too dark, it sounds too depressing. I don't really think so. And then, of course, Make Believe, Perfect Situation went through a few different situations. If you get the first pressing of the CD, you get the original version. But then there's like a longer intro, there's more piano, and then you have Scott and Brian doing the backing vocals, Perfect Situation, at the end. So there's a lot of differences on that one. And then We Are All on Drugs has a different bridge. And then I'm trying to think if they did that any other time too. They probably did, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway, then you have Blue Dream, which this one is kind of causing some controversy because it's just the Crazy Train riff, and the song does... the first time I heard this, I hated it. And now I'm coming around on it. It's probably my least favorite off the record, but it's actually pretty good. It becomes its own thing. I just wonder why they didn't save it and just cover Crazy Train separately. Like maybe I'd do a Teal album part 2, another covers album. I know that they have a lot of covers laying around this band. And then, yeah, so that's weird. And then the part that is really kind of pissing people off is that Rivers uses his lyrics from, and I think it's called Ballad of the Blarney or something, but it's one of those hundreds of demos that he dumped on his Rivers Como store, and a lot of them you can find on YouTube, and people are making their own Lost Weezer albums, and there's more of those than officially released albums, because Rivers has so much stuff in the vault, and some of it is so good. And a lot of it, I will agree with the fandom, a lot of it is even better than the records they're releasing. Except for like OK Human and White Album. And I'm saying that as someone that likes or as an apologist for even records like Pacific Daydream that not too many people seem to like. I love that one. I think it's catchy and it's them doing something different, but a lot of people go, oh, where are the guitars and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he uses the whole, all the lyrics and kind of the song structure from Ballad of the Blarney, and then makes the whole Crazy Train tribute / you know, riffs. That's the backing music. But really, if you listen to the demo on YouTube, they could have had like another classic, and they could have put it on, you know, the next record or whatever. Then you have One More Hit. I didn't like this one at first, and now it's one of my favorites that isn't called End of the Game. And, you know, Rivers has done the drug talk thing a lot. You know, Do You Want to Get High, Hash Pipe, Dope Nose, We Are All on Drugs. And every time, even to a lesser extent for We Are All on Drugs, but every time he makes a banger of a track out of it, and this one's really good. It's one of the heavier ones. The chorus is so catchy and so Weezer. I really like it. Sheila Can Do It is kind of like I Need Some of That. It's a bit more kind of power pop. She Needs Me has a really repetitious chorus, but I don't... some people really dislike this one. I think it's pretty catchy. It's obviously not one of the best songs on the album, but it's fun. And it reminds me of some of the better stuff from Green Album. I actually, you know, a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I actually like this one more than probably half the Green Album. Like, Smile's a classic, I love Hash Pipe, Island in the Sun is great, but I don't really see how it's become the best Weezer song of all, or the most popular, rather. I still like it, though. Photograph is good, Don't Let Go is a nice enough opener. But then other than those 5, you know, Knockdown Drag Out's okay, and then the other ones I don't really like all that much. So yeah, She Needs Me, I like that one. And then Precious Metal Girl is the nice kind of tender closer, kind of like how Butterfly tenderly closed Pinkerton. I'm gonna get slammed for even comparing the 2 records. Sacrilege. And then, of course, Angel and the One off of Red Album kind of ends everything on a heartbreaking kind of tender note. Though I will say, even though I'm not unhappy that I got the black, just standard LP over the colored ones, because the black one sounds really good, and a lot of people are saying there's kind of issues with the colored ones or whatever. 2 days after this shipped, there was a big deluxe edition that was announced that was about $110 or something, and you know, it had a cassette in it and a engraved guitar pick and blah blah blah, but it also had 1 or 2 bonus tracks on it, and one of them is like this Weezer song going way back. I think it's called like There's a Way or something like that. What's that called? Anyway, I listened to it last night, and it's one of the best things that they've done. I'm not gonna get the name, am I? Something like There's a Way or There'll Be a Way. Anyway, I listened to it last night a couple times, and I'm like, wow, like now I want to have the deluxe edition. Oh, I've thrown it all away. And this song is going way back. Like, this song is going back to the 90s, so they dusted off this track. It sounds incredible. I would love for this to be like the sound they go for on the next record. Obviously, next year in 2022, they're doing this whole seasons thing where they have 4 albums coming out, and they're all coming out the first day of each season, and they all have their own sound and their own genre, and that's going to be great. Like, I'm here for it. But man, the fact they didn't put I've thrown it all away on this thing, like, am I gonna buy another version of this record now? Or, and then it also comes with a picture disc, which has a remix of Hero, which that doesn't really matter to me, but also the single edit of Beginning of the End, which I mentioned. And I would love to own a physical version of that. Like, obviously I have it on Spotify right now, but I can see one day down the line they pull the single version off Spotify and just leave up this version, and that will be a shame. So it would be I would love to have it on physical media. But man, if you're like me and you're now a chump that doesn't have I've Thrown It All Away on your Van Weezer copy, go out on YouTube and listen. There's a couple higher quality versions on there, and someone named Natural Catsup. That was a good one. A lot of people are uploading this right now, I noticed, but yeah, the Natural Catsup, or just any of the ones that say high quality or bonus track to Van Weezer should do the trick. Yeah, but anyway, the first time I listened to this, I thought it was decent, like maybe a 3 out of 5 or so, and I've been listening to it all week now, and it's fun. You know, it's probably a solid 4. I really like it. It doesn't, it's not gonna knock OK Human down from being my favorite Weezer record in a long time, since White Album. And, you know, this is coming from a guy, like I said earlier, that has liked all the records in the last, you know, I don't know, 10 years or something of Weezer's discography. Yeah, so anyway, that's my little take on this, and expect to see this record again, because now I have to redo my Weezer discography ranked, because this band puts out so many records all the time, which I'm not complaining about, and also expect it to show up in the year-end list that I do. I don't know if I'll do a top 10 this year, or it might miss the top 10, but it might get in. OK Human will be on there, spoiler alert. But yeah, in like, you know, 6 months or whatever, when I do that, expect to see some Weezer there. Thanks so much for watching. I've got an unboxing coming up, and I've got a couple other planned videos, so let me know what you think of Van Weezer. It's like every Weezer record, it's very polarizing. I don't like to hear too much hate about it, but, you know, obviously if you don't like it, I'll listen, as long as it's not like just endless hateful stuff about new Weezer versus old Weezer, and why is he saying pistachio in the lyrics? It's like, have you listened to the Blue Album? There's quirky lines all over that thing, you know, don't look now but I lost my shoe and all that. Yeah, so this was supposed to be 10 minutes, so I'll be quiet now. Thanks everybody, and take care of yourselves. Take care.